Following breaking news now out of Virginia, U.S. Park Police, along with Herndon Police, served a former Marine with the search warrant. Investigators want to know if Adam Kokesh broke D.C. law when he filmed this video of himself loading a shotgun in Freedom Plaza in Northwest. Kokesh released the video July 4th. Fox 5's Lauren DeMarco is live in Herndon, Virginia tonight with the late-breaking details. Lauren?
Well, Sean, Herndon Police working with U.S. Park Police this evening. Here in this community, it is still an active scene. It's along Winter Haven Place at Snowflake Court, and officials are here to serve a search warrant at the home of Adam Kokesh, a political activist who made big headlines on the 4th of July. He planned a gun rights rally and had been encouraging others to join him in a march from Virginia to D.C. with loaded guns.
Police have raided Adam Kokesh's house in Virginia, busting the door down and throwing a flash grenade into the residence and taking him into custody. Here is a picture of the door from his Virginia home. In the wake of him posting the video on YouTube of him loading a shotgun in Freedom Plaza early morning on the 4th of July.
Kokesh canceled the rally and it never took place, but he posted a video online which was apparently recorded at Freedom Plaza.
A lot of people, of course, were claiming that the video was fake, saying that he used a green screen, etc., etc. And I suspected the video was fully authentic. I could tell because Adam was clearly very anxious, knowing that he was committing several felonies. I got a text message from him with the video shortly after it was posted.
And so he sent me a text right after it went live. I mean, he sent me the text. I looked at it. It had like 20 views on YouTube when he sent it to me.
The former Marine appears to load red shells into a pump-action shotgun, describing himself as part of the final American Revolution.
But you cannot debate that he has courage and that he has a right to do it. The question is now the time to call these people on their criminality? And I think that's open for debate. But Adam has caused a debate.
Kokesh has a roommate who is on his way back to the house this evening when he saw police had blocked the street off. He says he is a political activist as well, and he defends Kokesh's actions.
Now, we're going to go to your phone calls here in a few minutes. Adam Kokesh is on now, and this happened on the 4th of July. He went ahead with his armed march on D.C. there between the Capitol and the White House, got out there in the morning, loaded the shotgun up, in his words, in a text to me, saying he committed 4 felonies. The issue here is the Supreme Court 5 years ago overthrew the ban on shotguns and handguns for citizens. But just like courts have ordered Fast and Furious, the Justice Department to answer questions, they haven't done it in several years. And now in the latest ruling, 6 months. They are lawless.
The point is we have the rights to bear arms in all states. We shouldn't set standards of laws by imaginary borders, imaginary lines called borders. Because in the state of Virginia is an open carry state where you can legally open carry, but in the district of criminals, the only people allowed to walk with firearms are the criminals themselves.
This is like Rosa Parks saying, I'm not going to sit at the back of the bus anymore. I'm going to sit up at the front where the air conditioning's at. Just because I'm black doesn't mean I'm a second-class citizen. And D.C., the government has its guns, it's got its helicopters and rocket launchers, but you can't have a gun. So you can live in one of the highest crime rates in the country, just like Chicago, where they've taken the citizens' guns.
Now, D.C. residents can have a rifle or shotgun registered at their home, but there are rules for transporting those firearms. And police say that Kokesh, what he did was illegal. He could face up to 5 years in federal prison. But again, right now, we're told that police are issuing a search warrant. It's not clear whether they plan to take him into custody or whether they have taken him into custody at this point. That's the latest here in Herndon. Back to you in the studio.
Police have just served a search warrant. Here is the local D.C. Fox 5 affiliate showing some of the police, an interview with his roommate, making it clear that Virginia, just over the river, is an open carry state, but in the district of criminals, the only people who are allowed to carry guns are the federal police, the Federal Reserve Police, the Park Police. And again, here is a picture of the door. Instead of apprehending him when he's going to or from the gym or the grocery store, or, you know, just knocking on the door and wanting to interview them, they busted the door down through a flash grenade, according to his Adam versus the Man Facebook page, and he is currently in custody.
We will not be silent. We will not obey. We will not allow our government to destroy our humanity. We are the final American Revolution. See you next Independence Day.
And for those that live in freer areas, it doesn't seem like a big deal. Mordor has announced they're planning to come after you. It's been a big national story. Thank you for joining us. Tell us the details, where this is going.
This is going to be a very huge story. Probably going to throw the book at Adam for doing this. Faces up to 5 years in prison. And so that is the news for now. All over CNN, all over. This will most likely be a huge national story. Adam has a pretty big following and has been arrested many times for minor infractions, but this could be a big problem.
Well, Alex, I really appreciate that introduction. It's my pleasure to come on. This is the first formal interview that I've done since the event, and I'm more than happy to give this to you first because you've been so supportive in this. But I want to draw a comparison with Rosa Parks as you have, and I'm greatly honored by that, and the significance of her single act of civil disobedience really can't be measured. And I hope that in my lifetime I might have a similar impact. But you also made the comparison to Paul Revere. So if I may, the events that took place this past Independence Day with, as you pointed out, thousands marching throughout the country were about a lot more than the Second Amendment or the Fourth Amendment or the NSA or gun rights in general. It was very specifically a call to overthrow the United States federal government. And I think that we have come to the point where we can get a critical mass of Americans to realize that we'd be better off without it than with it. And Rosa Parks, when she went to the front of the bus, it wasn't, well, I think the government should be able to say who should be able to sit at the front of the bus, but it should only be white people and black people. Screw yellow people and red people and forget about them. No, it was, we are independent human beings and we have inherent rights based on that are absolutely universal. And I know that you're very well committed to that cause. But similarly with Paul Revere, if you want to take the call that I'm putting out for this, it's not to restore the republic. And I feel like I have a much more important mission right now during this interview with you today, sir, than to spread the message about what happened on Independence Day, but to convince you of the appropriate course of action moving forward, because your audience and yourself have so much respect and carry so much power in this United States national conversation right now. And if we say, well, we have these rights, but we're going to restore the republic, we're going to be repeating the mistakes of the past.
We don't even have a federal government. It's a foreign banking cartel.
Sure,
and if we point that out, then it's totally illegitimate and people get it. And I think it's going to be easier to at least restore the classic republic that's a million times better than the New World Order we've got than just saying, let's overthrow the federal government. It's not even the federal government. The Federal Reserve is not federal. This is an alien, globalist, corporate kleptocracy in Europe. They bragged that private banks have seized the countries. So my issue is I support you defending the individual right to bear arms, but I'm even giving you the legal argument the way that you probably win in court if they come after you, instead of just saying, I see you all as illegitimate criminals. I respect what you're saying. I respect the whole, the anarchic capitalist, hyper-libertarian, whatever you want to call yourself, view. I get that. I'm simply saying that I think you have a lot of courage. This is overall a very positive thing you did. It was your individual choice. It didn't endanger a whole bunch of other people. So I wanted to speak specifically about that, and then you can give us your view. But when you say a revolution, I want to have a psychological, cultural revolution against the globalists. So first define your revolution. and what you're saying, and then let's get back to you locking and loading with the 12 gauge there in D.C.
Sure, Alex, I appreciate that. And the revolution in the bigger picture, in the longer term, I'm absolutely with you. It's the paradigm shift. It's not the revolution, it's the evolution that people are going through of realizing that they have these rights. But the American founders, would you be the one telling them, oh, you shouldn't really shoot back at the king's soldiers. You should go send an emissary to King George and plead in his court for forgiveness, and you should plead for independence. No, the time then was to take a specific radical action. Fortunately, in this day and age, violence is not required to achieve that. But we're not going to achieve this through democracy, through the voting process, through the courts.
Well, I'll tell you this: if we saw 20-something governors and former senators and Ron Paul and people I respect meeting in public, like in Philadelphia again, and then I heard ideas and saw plans that were sent to the states. You got to have some organization.
Well, no, let me ask you a question, Alex, because you talk about these rights, and it's very important to understand what these rights are. And again, going back to Rosa Parks, what she was protesting for was not for specific privileges under an existing system. She was protesting for rights, and that's what I'm talking about here. You don't have a right under any system in the world to choose a leader for anyone else. That is fundamentally immoral. That is what the real immediate revolution that is happening.
No, I get it. This is a total.
You want to restore the republic. You're still going to have other people choosing a leader for me, and I reject that.
But I see this in steps. I want to kick the New World Order out and expose their eugenics agenda and bring them to justice. And then out of that great victory, we could build an open, more free society. Okay, so I agree with a lot of your basic ideas and a lot of the hyper-libertarian ideas that I think were expressed by Thomas Jefferson more eloquently than I can do 200-plus years ago. I'm saying the globalists actually like revolutions because they can steer them into larger crises, and that's why I think people have trepidation.
That's why specifically what we are calling for here is an orderly, peaceful dissolution of the federal government, not anything chaotic, which is what we face if we don't do anything, or if we take these half measures. And with all due respect, sir, I believe that what you're calling for is the definition of insanity, of trying the same thing over and expecting different results. And we can't fight inch by inch anymore, because you take an inch and they're going to take a mile behind your back and laugh at you while they're doing it. And we have to get a critical mass of public support on our side. And you're not going to get a critical mass of public support saying, well, let's change this law, or let's tweak this. Or
well, I'll say this. I know a lot of government people that want to have some big showdown, and historically, we're winning in the awakening process.
Absolutely.
And I think this baby is 5 months pregnant. My gut tells me, people say, oh, you just say that because you're a popular talk show host and have stuff to lose. That's not true, folks. I go out and give speeches to thousands of people without bodyguards. I'm out in the open. I mean, you're saying, let's have the revolution. They're all set up to try to have a civil war instead of a restoration of any type of freedom. And I believe the system of the Declaration of Independence that says it's our right, it's our duty to abolish forms that are abusive and set up new ones. Obviously, if we've got 101 million people on welfare in the U.S. right now, these people don't even know how to wipe their own hind ends, much less live in the society you're talking about. It's like Ron Paul said, America is in a coma. It's going to take time to get us out of this.
Well, in a sense, I feel like I'm the moderate here, because what I'm suggesting is that we maintain the state governments as they are. And what I'm suggesting specifically as a form for this revolution, this specific step that I think we can demand, that I think we can get a critical mass of people from behind, is to restore the authority of the states, to go back to having independent, truly autonomous states. And this is something that can really unite. The only people I want to pull the rug out from underneath is the NSA and the IRS and a few other absolutely destructive.
Well, they're foreign agents. Their leadership does need to be arrested.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, listen, you did the provocative loading the shotgun. You have a lot of courage down there. I understand you want to be smart and leave it nebulous for legal reasons, but we got you on to talk about that specifically. I mean, talk about why you decided to do it, because some will try to say it's a blue screen. Does not look like a blue screen to me. You can hear the birds tweeting and the wind blowing on the microphone. I mean, if it is fake, you had Stanley Kubrick out there helping him.
Well, that might just be the case. But no, it was a real shotgun. It was loaded, and it was racked and had a round in the chamber in Freedom Plaza in Washington, D.C., in between the White House and the Capitol. That it's time to say, let's end the federal government. Let's call for nothing less. Let's make
I hear you. I just think you do it a favor calling it the federal government. It really is a foreign alien banking combine.
Fair enough.
I mean, I just want to try to get America back.
All the more reason to not compromise. All the more reason to give no quarter. All the more reason to take it down to 0%.